Well, good morning to you all. It's a really windy bank holiday Monday today. I'm just starting a short video and I want to show this beautiful flower. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? This is LD Braithwaite to David Austin Rose. It's been here quite a few years, but it's actually planted on the dike side, and I'm hoping it'll soon get its roots down. I'm having to give it a bit of attention at the moment because this bank side's very dry, but yeah, it's giving us some fabulous blooms. They really are. You can't probably see it on the photo really, but the this one's getting a bit wind damaged, but they've got a really deep crimson, almost red wine colour, and the outer petals are really velvety. I'll just go back to the other flower and see if I can... Oh, I'm just a bit caught up at the moment. It's quite a thorny rose actually. As you know, I'm not a great fan of thorny roses, but I do make exceptions every now and again. Now this is actually showing to be quite red, whereas in true life it's got more of a deeper, more purpley red colour. It's a very light tea scent, but the flower, I mean, I've got quite large hands, but the flower is about 4 inches wide, and it's quite stunning really when you see it from a distance across the garden. So yeah, that's a fabulous David Austin Rose. I don't think it's been discontinued. I think you can still get this one. So that's LD Braithwaite. We're just coming along here. Madame Alfred Carrier is still doing so well. She's had these blooms now, I would think, for a good 2 weeks, and it has rained a bit as well, and just hasn't affected her. She's fine. She's really good in the wet weather. She's got a lovely fruity fragrance with hints of, well, I think sort of citrusy grapefruit. I do keep trying to deadhead her, although because she's such a big lady, it's a ladder job when I do go round to get rid of her spent blooms. But yeah, she's fabulous. I love her so much. She's been here quite a long while actually. I'll show you the main canes. I think you'll be quite surprised. So coming round to the other side, she really is an absolutely massive monster of a rose. She's, to be honest, she's almost a tree. She really is. She doesn't, well actually she does send new canes up, because just looking over here there are some new canes, but they're actually coming from some of the already established canes, so she doesn't send up brand new canes from the bottom. I think this is why she's so good. She's got such a good support system, and I think judging by these canes she's got some really big roots. Going round to the front, Minerva's still pumping them out. Minerva is so highly fragrant, she's gorgeous. This one's on a climbing rootstock, so this is actually the rootstock of Golden Showers climbing rose, which I put in here by this wall and didn't really like it, so I just grafted a bit of the Minerva onto it. You can see here, this is the graft. So yeah, she's taken really well, and then I grafted a bit further up onto that next cane there, that's the graft for that one. But she's so highly fragrant. And with this beautiful rose, she does tend to hold on to her spent flowers. The petals don't drop, so basically the flowers just get older and greyer, and they just stay on until you take them off, which sometimes is quite nice because then you don't have petals all dropping all over the floor. But she's a very purple rose. She's lovely, she really is lovely. Nice to mix in with pale pinks and peach and white roses, I think. So let's go on and see the blue moon rose. So we're in the front garden now. This is the snowball tree bush, which is a tree. Basically I've chopped about half of it down, well maybe about a third of it down, because it was getting much too high, and all of the flowers have gone over now. So I'm going to try and spend the morning sorting out poor Blue Moon, because she's come off of the wall. She was attached up here onto the wall, but it's been so windy, and now she's basically just, it breaks my heart to see her. She's just sprawling all over the floor. So today I'm going to be trying to decide where to put these canes. I'll take you around the other side and we can have a look at the main one that's sprouted out this year. So this big thick cane here, this one, this is this year's cane. It's still green, still quite green, and you can see it goes up right up to the guttering, and I've tied it onto the guttering just to stop it waving around whilst I decided what to do with it. Really, I've never seen such a long cane. It must be 15 foot long. So yeah, I think I might try and train that along this other wall here, and then the ones that are sprawling along the floor, I'm going to try and weave those into the framework of this snowball. I can't believe how massive her flowers are. Look at the size of these flowers, and they smell, oh honestly, the scent from Blue Moon is on the scale, I would say, of Gertrude Jekyll. She's got that sort of powerful fragrance, and they're just lovely. I love the colour as well. It's such a very powdery lilac. Beautiful. They don't normally hold up very well in the rain. But I think because she's looking down now, I think that's really helped with the rain just running off the back of the rose. And look at this, the scent is amazing. It really is. Look at all the buds. The buds all getting ready to pop when these other flowers go over. But these flowers have been on here for well over a week. She's got some black spot, as you can see, but that is a trait of this rose. She's an old rose, and unfortunately a lot of the old roses do succumb to black spot and some of the diseases. But looking at this, you can sort of disregard it really, because it would be a shame not to have this rose just for the sake of removing a few leaves. So yeah, I wish you could have smelly vision, because really the scent is so knockout powerful. It's beautiful. So Ispahan has finally come into bloom. She's an old damask rose. I do love my old roses. They just tend to be so healthy. And this is a repeat, oh I'm sorry, no, this is not a repeat flower. This is just a once flowering rose. But she flowers for ages. As long as you keep deadheading, each one of these little buds will actually come into flower one by one. Look at that, isn't she beautiful? I just love the formation. I think a lot of our modern roses have been bred incorporating some of the rosette shape of these old girls. It's just a change from the hybrid teas, which are not particularly my favourite ones. These have got a special place with me because, again, the beauty of these flowers, aren't they wonderful? They're just so lovely. So this rose, when she has eventually done flowering, which will be quite a few months I would think yet, she does flower for a couple of months, then I'll just deadhead her and trim her back slightly, and then she'll prepare ready for next year's blooms. I've actually got a little clematis down here which keeps popping up every now and again in with the roses. There's another one there. I just think it's a beautiful colour combination. The rose pink and the purple of the clematis. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. This is on the drive side, and I did tie her back onto the silver birch trees, which are just perfect actually, giving a nice natural stake. So I've got two of these. I've got one a little bit further around the drive, but it looks pretty similar, so I won't show you that one. I'll move on and show you some of the roses that you maybe haven't seen yet. So this is one of my Iceberg roses, all budded up and looking healthy. She does succumb to a little bit of powdery mildew later in the year if she gets too dry at the roots, but at the moment she's looking nice and healthy. So we'll move along. Oh, we've got sambucas flowering here. That's the black elder, and a lovely little delicate leaved acer. Another iceberg. The one in the cage at the back, that's gentle Hermione. She's only just been planted there a few years, so she's not really established yet. I have another Minerva here. Beautiful, 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 beautiful flowers. Look, perfect. Absolutely perfect. One of my all-time favourite roses. And then it's very windy today. Another iceberg, not in bloom yet. And then this is the other Ispahan. Next to that, another iceberg. I'll probably got about 20 icebergs dotted around. I brought one with me when we moved here, and there was already one here in the front garden, so we started with 2, and the rest are from cuttings that I've taken over the years. They're one of the easiest roses to do from cutting, in my opinion. Now this beautiful little rose has been hidden for a few years. This is called Cliff Richard, and apparently it gets to be about 5 foot tall, so it's got a bit of growing to do. I might have to trim this shrub back a little bit to give it some space, but there's no fragrance, none at all really, but it's ever so pretty. It's good for the bees because it's semi-double. But yeah, it's nice. I like this one. Another rose that I really sort of neglected for quite a few years is called Pink Perpetu. I was really obsessed with the David Austin roses, and at the time this didn't really fit the bill. So I moved it a few years ago into the front garden, and I actually planted it very closely. I threw out the rule book basically, which is what I always do anyway. And I planted it really close to the base here of silver birch rose, which they always say you don't plant your roses near trees. This is really free draining soil, so it's quite dry. But this rose has just taken off again. It loves it here. She's quite beautiful, isn't she? I don't think there's a fragrance. I'll have a... Oh, actually, there is a bit of a fragrance. Sort of a cross between tea and old rose. In the books, and I've got loads and loads of books on roses, it says that this rose gives a better display in the autumn than it does on its first flush in the spring. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing how that goes. But yeah, apart from that, this rose is really growing on me. So that's Pink Perpetu. So moving further round in the front garden, James Galway here. It's just starting to open up. This is another rose that I really would recommend because it has lots of flowers, beautiful flowers, absolutely gorgeous when they open. Quite a light fragrance, but definitely a noticeable fragrance. I think it's just the form of the flowers that appeals to me, and it's a nice big shrub because I tend to favour the shrubs that will get to a good size because I've got such a lot of space to fill. So yeah, another one for the list. Moving along here, this is on a hedge side at the front garden. I've got another one of my icebergs here. They say that if you want to grow a good iceberg, you need to try and grow it, allow it to grow big, and it will be healthier that way. Gorgeous little buds, look how pointy they are. They've got a slight pink tinge, but when they open up they're pretty much white. I think everybody knows the iceberg rose. Now I've got Crown Princess Margarita trained against a wall. She's looking very vibrant this morning. Yeah, she's trained out into a fan. So we've got loads of buds to come on this one. And Tranquility, lovely, lovely white rose. She's beautiful. Tranquility's got a really lovely apple, citrusy apple scent that's I've never smelt in any other rose before or since getting this one. She's quite a unique. I have to apologise, I keep catching the off button on my video for my phone, so again we've got Tranquility. She's lovely. Really, really big flowers. These are a good 4-inch across, and they're very robust flowers. They've almost got like a waxy feel to them, and sometimes they don't even look real, they're that perfect. So yeah, that one needs a stake, I'm afraid. It's a bit floppy on the floor after all the wind. I've got Lady Emma Hamilton next door to that one. She has some very bronzy foliage. She's a very easy to spot rose once you've seen her before. She's got the most amazing fruity fragrance, and discontinued now, retired by David Austin Roses, because I think her health isn't very good, and it seems that they now are growing or developing roses more for the future climate change rather than for fragrance and beauty, which I don't know, it's a shame really, but there we go. Another rose that I haven't shown you yet, that probably there aren't that many of these roses around. And this one's called Galway Bay. It's been around for quite a few years. There's only a couple of flowers on this at the moment, but it will get to be a very big rose. I don't think there's any scent to it. I'll just have a quick sniff. No, I'm not getting anything at the moment scent wise on this rose. Yeah, this is a good rose if you're trying to do colour schemes. This is a good rose for planting with red roses, because it just bridges that gap over from red to pink. So I'm just going to take you out now to look at one of the roses that I planted on the dike side and basically forgot about. And then one day I was just happening to come out here and I realised that not only had it carried on growing, but that it had actually started to flower. These are all my new pear trees. Here we go, look. Isn't this beautiful? What a wonderful sight to see, just growing in the trees. This is Reine de Violette. It's a very old rose. And all of this here, this is all her growth. So she's, look at this. All the buds. I've basically abandoned her, and yet she's really, look, she's going for it. You probably can't see all the buds, but she's excuse me, she really is thriving out here. So give this another few days and she will be full of flower. And this rose has got an amazing scent, and again she's thornless, so I'm going to be taking cuttings from her and putting her in my new, well not new, but newly developed rose alley, which is where I planted one of the new roses that I got the other day. My husband's over there. He's putting together his arch for me. We've had these rose arches just stored in the polytunnel in the boxes for years. I've already got 7 of them, but with the renewed enthusiasm for creating a rose alley, we thought we might as well make these others up too and get them put in the ground. This is my schoolgirl rose here. There we go, she's getting ready to pop. Another lovely salmon pink coloured rose. And then, so we've got 4 arches here. So this is where I've put my new rose, the Ghislaine de Feligonde. Hopefully the pronunciation is better than the first time round. She'll have beautiful peachy, lemony creamy, single to semi-double flowers, and lots of them. You can always tell when you look at the bud cluster how many flowers and how floriferous a rose will be. Okay, so I'll call that it for today. I'll leave you with my James Galway that's about to pop. He's at the beginning of the rose alley. My husband laughs at me when I call it an alley. He thinks I should call it an alley, but according to Linda from America, it is actually an alley. So I'll say bye bye for now. Have a great day and enjoy your roses.